Hey everyone, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to create our followers component, this one right here. So when the user clicks on this followers, we are going to bring the followers of the user. So in the profile folder, I'm going to create a new file, followers.js, and a React component again. And inside this component, we are going to receive the user. So the logged in user state, logged user follow stats. So again, the follow stats of the user who is logged in, the function to set it, so set user follow stats, and also we are going to receive the profile user ID, so the ID of the user whose profile we are viewing. And let's import this component inside our username page. Import followers from and followers. So here we are going to check after this active item is equals to profile check. If active item is equals to followers, then we are going to show this profile followers component. And inside this, we are going to pass the user. So the state of the user is logged in, logged user follow stats, set user follow stats, the function, and also we are going to pass in the profile user ID. So it is going to be profile dot user dot underscore ID. We are receiving the profile inside the props, and we are checking for active item is equals to followers, because when we created the profile menu tabs, when we are clicking on the followers tab, we are calling this function handle item click and passing in the followers string. So now let's create this component. Inside this component, first of all, we are going to need some components from semantic UI React. We are going to need button, image, and list. And also we are going to import a spinner from layout and spinner. So this is just a loading sign. So if I go back to the profile, and you can see this loading sign will appear. And inside the function, we are going to create some states. So let's first import the use state and use effect. So we are going to use effect to bring the data from the backend. Const followers and set followers. Use state is going to be empty array. And also we're going to have a state for loading and set loading. Use state is going to be false. So inside here we're going to import Axios and the base URL. Also we're going to need our JS cookie package, because on the backend it is a protected route. So here inside the use effect, I'm going to create a function to get the followers from the backend, and it is going to be on mount. So const get followers async function. On the start, we are going to set the loading to true, and inside try catch, after the catch block, we are going to set the loading back to false. And if there is any error, I'm just going to alert the user error loading followers. So inside the try block, const res wait axios dot get base URL slash API slash profile slash followers and the user ID. So profile user ID, and we are going to pass in the headers authorization cookie dot get token. So the data will be returned inside res.data. So set followers res.data. And on the backend inside our profile route, so again we are populating the user of the followers.user. So again we are going to use this information on a front end. And after this we are going to call this function. So get followers. And this is all for this use effect. And inside the return statement, I'm going to remove this div. Let's add fragments. So if it is loading, first of all, we're going to check if it is loading. We're going to show the spinner. Otherwise, if followers dot length is greater than 0, then we are going to map over it. So followers dot map. I'm going to name it profile follower, the iterator. And here I'm going to add curly brackets because we are going to do some logic inside this. So in the deployed version, you can see right here, the users I am following, the following icon is being shown next to it, and the users who are following me, but I am not following them back. So this icon is shown right here, this button right here. So we're going to check it with our state of logged user follow stats. Here we are going to create a boolean const is following logged user follow stats dot following dot length. If it is greater than 0, then we're going to run a filter over it. Logged user follow stats dot following dot filter. We are going to receive the following iterator, and here we are going to check if following dot user, if it is equals to profile follower dot user dot underscore id. Let's save it, and we are going to check if its length is greater than 0. So we are running a loop over the followers map loop, and we are receiving the profile follower iterator, and I'm using these big names for variables so that I'm clear enough. So we are creating this boolean. First of all, we are checking if logged user follow stats. So the user who is logged in, if its following length is greater than 0, then we are going to run this filter. And inside here, we're checking if following dot user, if it's equals to profile follower dot user dot underscore id, and if its length is greater than 0. So when the loop is running, every time a loop runs, this value is going to change. And because we are inside the filter, this value is going to change also every time the loop runs. And now we are going to add a return statement here. We are going to return some JSX here. We are going to return a list. First of all, it is going to have a key of profile follower dot user dot underscore id, and it is going to be divided. Vertical line is going to be middle. And inside this list, we are going to have a list dot item. And inside here, we're going to have list dot content. It is going to have a floated of right. So inside this content, we are going to check if profile follower dot user dot underscore id not equals to user dot underscore id. So this basically means that if I go to the user I'm following, and if I go to the follower, you can see this is my own profile. So I'm not going to see any button right here, follow or unfollow button. And if I go to the following tool, I'm not going to see this button right here. So we are not going to show this button right here when the user who is logged in is following or is being followed by any other user. So now back to VS Code. If profile follower dot user dot underscore id not equals to user id, and we are going to add some brackets here. We are going to show button. Its color is going to be if is following is equals to true. We are going to show the color of Instagram. Otherwise, we are going to show the color of Twitter. And next, we are going to show the content. So if is following is equals to true, we are going to show the content of following. Otherwise, we are going to show the content of follow. Let's add capital letters here, capital F. And the icon is going to be if is following is equals to true. We are going to show the icon of check. Otherwise, we are going to show the icon of add user. And here we are also going to have a disabled. So we're going to create a different state for this, follow loading. I'm going to create a state here, const follow loading and set follow loading. Use state is going to be false. So this loading is going to be when the user clicks on this button to follow or unfollow any other user. And we are going to have an on click on this. So we will work on it when we are creating the functions for following and unfollowing the user. And after this content, we are going to have an image. It is going to have an avatar prop. Source is going to be profile follower dot user dot underscore id. And the list dot content, it is going to be as a anchor tag. and the href is going to be inside template strings slash, and then we are going to have the username. So profile follower dot user dot username, and inside this we are going to show the name. So profile follower dot user dot name. So now let's check if it works, and let's go to our version. And right now do not have any followers, but I am following John Doe user. So we're going to visit the John Doe profile. And here you can see we get the Jane Doe. And the image is not being shown. Image avatar source. Oh, you typed in the wrong source. I typed in the ID. It is going to be profile pic URL. Now let's refresh. And now the image is being shown right here. And if I click on this, we are going to be redirected to the profile. So I forgot to add a component here. When there are no followers, we are going to show a message here. Let's import that component from layout and node data. We have a no follow data. So inside this component, we have this follows component and following component. These are going to be booleans. So if we are on follows component, we are going to set the follows component to true. Else, if we are on following component, we are going to set it to true. And in the return statement for this follows component, where we are checking for the ampersand follows.length is greater than 0, we are going to remove these ampersands. Let's add the question mark here, and its bracket is going to be right here. So this one, and here we're going to type if it is not greater than 0, we're going to show this component, and follows component is equals to true. So now if there are no followers, we're going to show this no follow data. Now let's check if it works. If I go to the followers, you can see we get this message, user does not have any followers. In this video, we're going to create the following component inside the profile, following.js, and I'm just going to copy paste from here. It is going to be more or less the same. We're going to change some values. We will first import it and then make the changes inside that file. So here it is going to be following, and I'm going to copy this statement from here, active item. If active item is equals to following, then we're going to show this following, and the props are going to be the same. Inside the following, first of all, let's change the function name, following. So here I'm going to name it following and set following. The loading and follow loading states can be the same. So here it is going to be get following. And inside here, we're going to make the request to following. So profile slash following and the profile user ID, and set following to res.data. Inside here, we're again going to show the spinner. And here we're going to check if following.length is greater than 0. Then we're going to map over that. And for the profile follower, I'm going to name it profile following. So I selected all these values with Control plus D. For Mac, it must be Command plus D. So our loop is going to be the same for the following. We are again going to check for that. And the rest of it is going to be the same. The buttons and everything is going to be the same. Inside the no follow data, we are going to change this to following component. So now let's go back and check if it works. Inside the Jane Doe, we are already following a user. And we get this John Doe, and next to it we get the following. And if I go back to John Doe, and if I go to following, we get this message, user does not follow any users.